Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Bay 12 Games Talk. This is a long-form interview featuring myself, Blind, and Zach and Tarn Adams, the creators of Dwarf Fortress. In this video, we talk about a lot of adventure mode, bug fixing, bug tracking, some bugs they didn't know about, and also things to come in the future and what is happening with archers and adventure mode. Did I mention adventure mode? Anyway, enjoy the interview, and I'll see you again at the end. All right, so we're back. We're doing another one of these. It is now November, so it's been a couple of months since July, which I think was the last one of these we did. And I'm joined with by Tarn and Zach. So how are you two doing?
Excellent. It's been a few months of crap, but we're getting over it.
Yeah,
we're going through.
Yeah. No, the dogs will be fine.
Well, things do seem to be kind of like picking back up on the development side of things. I know that right before I unmuted us, we were talking about fire alarms. So maybe we just kind of want to give the audience a warning that there is a potential that we may have to pause everything if fire alarms go off.
No, literally the fire alarm in my building is broken, and we've been going outside every single day at some random time, just going out there and hanging out. People have gotten so relaxed; they're just sitting there reading books, leaning against the building, and so forth. But you can hear the fire from all the way, all the way across town. You can hear it just going, and they said they were going to fix it, but
yeah, if you hear just a lot of then you know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I also live in an apartment, and there's a point once a month where the fire alarms go through testing, and so it's like a 12-hour period. It's about 8 hours. It feels like way longer than that. It's about 8 hours. It starts in the morning and goes until the evening, where the fire alarm just goes off every 15 minutes because they have to check every single floor and every single apartment, and it just goes for the entire day.
Yeah, here they blame the vapors. They're like, there's some random vapor that's vaping somewhere that might be vaping, and I'm like, I don't know.
I played faulty wiring, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, they blame dust too, and they're like, we're gonna have the dust cleaned off all of them, but it's also the vapors. Who knows, man?
Somewhere in your building is somebody playing Dust 2 in Counter-Strike.
I like time it so that I can just go get groceries. It's it rings, and instead of evacuating, I just go get groceries, come back. It's not ringing anymore. It's cool.
Yep, that works. So
that's my new life.
Like I was saying, things seem to be picking up a little bit in the development side of things. So what have you been what's kind of the thing at the front of your mind that you've been working on the most that you would like to talk about today?
I mean, it's the kind of site maps are pretty exciting. The portraits are pretty exciting.
Right, the art.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of cool. That's going on in adventure mode.
Right, because that's the whole point, is to bring the art and the interface to Dwarf Fortress. So yeah, I guess it would be the art, maybe the priority, and then but Tarn is also jumping in there, and that's what you're noticing.
Yeah,
is Tarn is jumping in there full speed with
just menus. Yeah. Inventory menu is the topic now, right? It's just okay, if you're going to do a modern roguelike inventory menu, then how do you approach it so that the keyboard and the interface are both satisfied? There's 4 different ways to drop an item now. It's okay, yeah. No, it's fun. We'll see. We'll see how that develops. But that's what we're working on.
Yeah, the adventure mode development stuff has been a kind of interesting thing to slowly see unfold, as well as the archery stuff, because that's been kind of rattling around, and I know that there's a lot of people that have been asking about the archery stuff. What is the current play for the improvements to archers? Because right now ammo works again, so that's good. I mean, I have 3 functioning Marksdwarf squads in my fortress right now, which is great. It's actually kind of really nice to be able to just have that part of the game function closer to as intended now. But what's the current status of the fixes for archers?
So that is, we started a Reddit thread to find the most annoying bugs, because we have a giant database of bugs that we go through, but there's no way of really telling, because a lot of them are critical, but we don't know which are the most annoying, because there are so many, which is unfortunate. But the which are the ones that are bugging people the most? Because we know it's okay. I mean, a lot of people are playing the game, so we know that it functions. But which are the most annoying? And I got to say that archers are number one. So That's our number one priority as far as, aside from adventure mode, what are we doing? Is the archer fix.
Yeah, so it's like a matter of like just when we're going to get, 50 point the next one out, and what will include, it's definitely going to include some archer stuff, and then that kind of fell into several categories of like, now that those archers are basically, working in some sense, even without the menu up there that pops up, like, here's you use metal for combat and wooden for training. That's not back yet, but the basic idea is we don't want people to club their enemies with their crossbows anymore. We're going to handle that. We want people to use fortifications more appropriately, and we want people to be able to use the ammo that they want to use for the different activities that they use. And it bumps into hunting and other stuff. So the next release is going to have sort of that kind of approach to fixing archers.
Right. There's a lot of thought that has gone into it and needs to go into it, and we're going to try to make the ultimate fix.
The ultimate fix.
So the ultimate fix is a pretty kind of overarching statement. What, like, so, because currently the crossbows are considered hammers, I think, because I know that crossbow dwarves do a lot of bonking.
Yeah, no, this melee thing is
eventually.
just ridiculous, right? Yeah, the melee thing is ridiculous, and that's just got to stop. They literally have to not decide to go club someone to death and go grab some more ammo, right? I mean, it's like there's this kind of middle ground of just how like desperate a situation you're in, which makes this problem harder than people have probably thought about. Like if a goblin is 5 tiles away from you, is it clubbing time or is it go grab some ammo time, right? And that's tricky. That's tricky. And so it's kind of part of the problem why this hasn't been resolved is this kind of mid-range trickiness to
Right,
it.
because even in the original, before the graphics, we still had some problems with it.
No, yeah, it's been broken forever. Yeah, but we're finally going to do a pass on it, and you just do a pass and another pass, but we're actually going to literally have a crossbow dwarf go and run and grab some ammo instead of trying to beat someone to death. So
Right, just run it in arena mode over and over and try to get it to work right.
yeah. I mean, it's going to be better. It's going to be better.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, recently in my current fortress, I like I said, I do have several working squads, and their steel bolts are very effective. I think the thing that currently irks me the most is the fact that like steel is a very valuable resource, and once
Exactly, and you don't want to like fire it into a training target, right? I mean, it's like just use wood for that, and no, it's frustrating. It's just like not having that menu.
Yeah,
like
this
before.
is definitely number one, the biggest problem that we will do before the next release.
Yeah,
is the archery.
Shooting them into a target destroys the arrow, right? But like if
Yeah.
there's a hole in front of the target, then it falls down into the hole and you can retrieve it. So the
Oh sure.
and then
I mean,
it
yeah, we
falls
don't.
through floors as well. And then you
People
have
have workarounds. Yes,
unstacked arrows.
You geniuses out there have workarounds. And then there's like, literally, like unstacked arrows, and you have to stack them one at a time until you get 25 in your quiver or whatever. And it's just a little ridiculous.
a little bit.
I mean, okay, so fine. I mean, I'm not sure the restacking has always been a problem, like in every form in Dwarf Fortress, because it's like, yes, but their temperatures are slightly different, so you can't combine them. It's like we really do just have to bite the bullet sometime and be like, it's time for us to restack these things, even if physics is denied.
Bundle arrows job at the Boyer's shop. Bundle bolts.
That's almost too much.
They just run around and just grab all the different arrows and make an arrow bundle. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we were thinking of all sorts of fixes originally, like something to do with stockpiles.
Yeah, it's so tricky to be like, if you, because that system with the squads we're using, which is like, here you decide the material and you decide the purpose and so forth. And it's like, could we just use squad stockpiles for that? But ultimately we might be just back to the old material stacks in the squad without using stockpiles. I'm not sure. And that it's just one of those things that gets decided at the moment. And then you
and nobody will be happy with it. not nobody. Everyone will not be happy with it
but it will be better than
it'll be better
before.
than it was before. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, better than before is always an improvement.
Yeah, no, I mean, if they're not clubbing people to death, or no, even worse than that, like jumping off of a wall, like 2 Z levels down to go club somebody instead of like, oh, maybe I can just grab some ammo and shoot out of this fortification for a little bit longer before I go Rambo on you guys.
Yeah,
Well, Rambo used a ranged weapon though, so it's like worse than Rambo.
a couple forts ago, I actually was trying to figure out where one of my dwarves was because he just like disappeared from my like crossbow tower, which was shooting down at enemies. And then I realized he was 8 Z levels above ground, climbing down the side of the tower, trying to get to the enemies. It's like, all right, fine, I'll give you a spear if you insist. Like, you can join a different
it's like
squad.
know your function in life. It's like I think they should take quite a bit of time to consider that there may be other bolts available and that they can take some time, go grab them, walk back to where they were. They might not get the first goblin that was running by, but there's like goblins 2 to 10 that are still coming, and maybe they'll have a crack at that.
My main strat at this point is still just like make sure that there's arrows or bolts where they are and then lock them in. Just don't let them out, and they don't let them jump out of the fortifications because there's lava underneath it. Like, where are you gonna go, Dwarf? There's no way out. Even if you wanted to.
This is not ideal.
Yes, this is not ideal. I mean, this is like teaching us what we should be doing. Is what this basically is a form of instruction for us.
How do we stop this from happening?
Well, I'm sure that it will. There will be a workaround, and I'm looking forward to it. The next thing that I kind of wanted to bring up, which is something that I saw a lot of questions about, but I don't have any specific questions for it, is the status of Mantis, the bug tracker.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good question because we have some great news. Basically, is that we've got a new one. It's not live yet, but it'll be live shortly. You'll be able to make accounts again. You'll be able to. It's just like before, right? I mean, we tried this new thing. It was not great. You couldn't make accounts. It was email based. We were kind of trying to. We were really worried about the traffic levels, right? So we were like, well, the old bug tracker's just going to fall apart. The traffic's going to be too much. So we have to go to this like email submission method. But it turns out, no. Okay, so we can handle some basic traffic. We can handle people having accounts, commenting, leaving their files on like our external site, the Dwarf Fortress File Depot. It's going to be fine. So we're basically going back to the old system. KitFox is supporting us on that, and it's basically ready to go. So no, we're good on the bug tracker now, and we should have that news shortly.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about that because that's something that it's a pretty common topic of discussion, at least in my chat. And there was a couple questions that came through when I did the rounds of submissions for that. So that's good to hear that there's something happening.
Yeah, no, basically a giant pile of shame on us for letting this go on for so many months. And it's back though. I mean, we'll be back to people just being able to like chat about bugs, having their account, and it's gonna be good.
I will make sure to inform everybody that I killed the second cockroach I found in my apartment in 10 years. So.
Well, that's good because
dead,
when I was living in Texas, there were some giant ass cockroaches. It's like a tropical environment, and those people can take over here.
The first apartment me and Tarn shared in college, completely covered with cockroaches
and like shelf fungus. We like moved the sofa, and there was a giant shelf fungus running behind it.
Good Lord!
It was like an environment.
All right. Well, many cultures were had in that apartment, it sounds like.
Yeah. So, sadly, I had to live there.
KitFox was very kind and provided me with a screenshot of a lovely mock-up of UI for adventure mode.
Yeah, some of that's not even a mock-up. It's like real deal.
Does it?
So let's see if we can bring it up.
That's what I was gonna ask. I mean, I can pop it here. Do you want me to drop it in the Discord chat or?
Yeah. I just don't know which one you're talking about. Okay. Sure.
I will plop the image in the Discord chat if you give me a second. I had it up on screen, but had to remove it because I don't want to flash the Discord chat on stream. That would be very unprofessional.
There it is. Right. There it is.
That's the screenshot I would like to chat about. And then I've got 2 screenshots of the world map as well.
Well, it's frankly an important screenshot because it's got the hippo person in it.
Yeah, who
you can't consider that that's not a mock-up because that's literally a hippo person. How could you mock that up?
To me, that's just Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude's a
I mean,
prick.
this is why we play adventure mode, right? We got like 170 animal people, and we could play them all.
Yeah, who would play a dwarf in adventure mode when you can play any animal person?
Any
Well,
animal person.
any animal person that happens to live in that culture.
That's true. That's true. But if you've got a brown recluse spider person with 6 daggers, then that's 6 more daggers, then or 5 more daggers than you would normally have.
So the first thing I see is Kit Fox is asking about the hug button.
The hug button.
The hug button. She's like, does anybody see the hug button? I'm looking at the buttons and going, which one is the hug button? The wrestling button. Oh, she's referring to the wrestling button. That makes
There's
sense.
wrestling. Okay, so wrestling's a different matter. That's like straight out combat. So it's the button beside the sword. You can see 2 animal people kind of going at it. That was kind of like one of the question buttons because we were like kind of working through this and we're like, you know, are people really going to understand that? It's like, well, you got a tool tip. It's going to be like, yeah, let's play Twister together or whatever. It's
Right. Like playing Crusader Kings, I don't know what half those icons mean anyway. They just seem to be totally random. So
yeah, the tool tip is going to be
the tool tip is necessary.
Yeah.
Glyphs and sigils. Question that I saw a whole lot about adventure mode is tutorialization.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a comparable tutorial to Fortress mode?
So it's like it was with Fortress mode. It's kind of an open question until the last 2 months, and we're kind of like we get through the interface, which I just kind of am doing the inventory interface now. I've done climbing, I've done get, done search. You know, we're just kind of working through those buttons one at a time, and then you're like, okay, you know, are tool tips enough? Probably not, but then you're in like this adventure mode situation where you're like literally who knows what's going on because you're just like plop in a town somewhere, and you know what are you going to ask people to do? You can't like tutorialize wrestling until they're like actually grabbing at somebody. And so the answer is we would like to have some tutorialization, but unlike Fort mode, it feels like you don't have quite the kind of sequential going through 8 screens that you could do you could do there, where you're like digging a stairway, placing a workshop, placing, you know, a stockpile. Like in adventure mode, things come to you over time, and it might just have to be kind of that sort of incidental tutorialization instead. And I mean, it kind of runs into the fact that adventure mode is very undirected, and that's always been true. Adventure mode's a weird creature, right? Adventure mode is not like your typical, like, people are going to be like what are we going to have, like 10 million people coming off Baldur's Gate expecting like an RPG or something.
At least at first. Our goals are pretty lofty, but at least at first we're just trying to get the adventure mode as is right now in the ASCII version into the Steam version.
And if that means
that's goal number 1. If we
Yeah.
can finish that before the
Yeah.
rest, then
Yeah, I think people are going to be a little bit tripped up by, you know, what this thing is and what it'll become over time. But we're going to try and
I mean, we worked it for 20 years. We're going to keep working for
we're going to try and get people into it a little bit more than they did before, when it was literally just did a pop-up and it was like, you have got together with your friends maybe and you're in adventure mode, go seek adventure. That's literally like the pop-up, and then it would just kind of send you on your way. You know, hopefully we can do more than that, but it's such an open-ended, weird experience.
Right.
And,
We're gonna have to take that experience as it already exists.
Yeah.
And that's the first step, and then it's all just improvement.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be hard in that initial release, I think, to kind of deal with expectations and so forth. But you know, as long as people understand that we're still here and that we've kind of got plans for it, I mean, hopefully it'll be okay.
No, it should be hippo people.
There's hippo people. There's other people too. I mean, like the goal is to have every single animal person represented on launch.
So there's a question that actually got asked a whole number of times, but I picked up this one from a name that I think is Finnish, so I'm gonna butcher this. So Vajaki, I give up. But they say in the graphically updated adventure mode, is there going to be a visual difference that makes it clear if it's day or night without manually checking it? I'm pretty sure that the adventurer's field of view is lessened, but it would be cool if the colors were also darker.
So we have that ability. just straight out to change the RBG values. And that's kind of where we're leaning now. Because of how graphics work, there's like this memory footprint that comes into play there. But we're optimistic that we can just kind of do that. And there should also be a widget because I mean the time command, the odor command, the weather command. There's all these buttons that you could press in the kind of OG adventure mode that those buttons don't have to exist if there's like a widget that's just telling you what's going on, right? I mean, it just is conveying some basic information that's in your environment. And that will also be present, I think.
What is kind of like your end goal for how adventure mode is presented when it's released? Are you trying to replicate everything 1-to-1? Are things going to be left out of like the current adventure mode, like kind of what ended up happening with Fortress mode when Fortress mode released? Where it's kind of like, all right,
no, I mean
Fortress is
it's
releasing, but we're not going to have everything.
It's literally, yeah. I mean, it's really unfortunate that like certainly with some of the squad menu stuff, certainly with the Legends mode exports, we're missing some things.
Right,
But,
and the archer stuff.
yeah, I mean, the Archer stuff is improvements mostly, but yeah, sure, the ammo material choices were left out. I think if we're trying to be completely above board about this, the thing that's in danger is cabin building, because it's such an in-depth interface for something that does not get used in the game other than to just kind of have one around, right? That's basically it. Everything else is getting in.
Okay.
And I think cabin building will make it too, but it is really like
This is post update.
yeah, post update, right around update, whether we make it to April, like if I'm done with everything a little before, then we get the we go for the cabins, but it's like it's tricky. I mean, just to say like, do we build a whole fort mode interface for something that was always that kind of a half-baked feature? I mean, yeah, if we're being realistic about it, that's the thing that's in danger.
Now, this next question comes in from Dr. Funk, and they say, I love building cavernous fortresses designed specifically for future adventurers, like a true mountain.
That's right.
Will fortresses I build now be compatible with the adventure mode update?
So one of those screenshots we sent you was by a fortress by like some Textagon, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least one, maybe multiple of the screenshots that we sent you. And so the current thinking is save compatibility all the way. There's no reason why it shouldn't be there. We've been preparing things with that in mind, and we've been kind of checking them out and seeing, like, we love running around people's old fortresses.
Well, the entire point of the game originally was to do this from the very start, is to have the adventure back into your old fortresses. Originally, you had no other choice. You had to go to your old fortress. So.
Yeah, so we're like, I mean, we're not foreseeing anything like the things that were on the table were like the whole Magic release, right? Like as in terms of the next save compatibility, and even with that, we're trying to think of ways to make that work too.
Right, we're doing everything incrementally instead of the arc thing that we used to talk about.
Yeah,
the Magic arc instead will have like little pieces of Magic, little pieces of the villain release that didn't get finished.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy never to break save compatibility again, although that's not something that I'd put my soul on, but it's like, we're going for that.
The amount of save compatibility Dwarf Fortress has had over the years is kind of incredible, and the fact that it was only broken for the first time in like close to a decade, last year.
No,
is
I mean,
pretty impressive.
I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. I like sitting that, but I'm also like, there's so many people kind of playing with it now and setting up things and stuff. I mean, I'd really like the first adventure mode release to be save compatible. And I think we can do it.
The next question comes in from Claudio, and they say, will all civilized creatures, humans, dwarves, elves, goblins, and kobolds, as well as the underground tribes, ant-men, amphibian men, etc., have accurate sprites for their equipment?
So, no, I mean, the first 5 you mentioned already are pretty good, right?
Generally.
And it's like the animal people are the question, right? And we've got Jacob's going to pass on that. Jacob's going to pass on animal people equipment. And it's tricky because, like like the bodies are all different, the positions of the arms and things are all different. And so it's more something we've been striving for. We're just going to do a number of passes on that, and that's the goal, is to eventually you got at least the weapons in hand. You try and get as much of the worn equipment as possible. And if you're in a situation where you've got 50 different bodies, then it becomes a little tricky to get every cape and cloak in the right position. It's something, we could have homogenized a little bit better, but we're like, we want the
We want this
critters.
game to come out this century.
Yeah, and we got the critters looking like the critters look, and it's like, it's again coming up with like you saw this Hippo Man portrait. It's like, do we want 5 different bodies, say, for the portrait, so that we can draw equipment on the portraits? You'll notice that this hippo person, they wear a shirt or a tunic or whatever in the portrait down in the bar, but up in the portrait they don't have a tunic, and it's because we're kind of trying to feel out like how many bodies we're going to need, and we're trying to keep that into like the 5 range. So you have 5 bodies for different creatures, like an elephant person and a hippo person maybe have the same body, so that you have like less trouble drawing the equipment and so forth. And we're trying to manage that so that we can get this job done. But the goal is to get equipment on everybody.
That's exciting. I mean, right now, a lot of those like creatures mentioned are good, but like as an example, goblins, regardless of the type of armor that they have on, it looks like iron or steel. It's like that kind of color palette. So you could have.
The palettes is also a different matter, because Jacob's already finished item palettes for the creatures in general, and it's really just poor Tarn. Poor Tarn needs to do some palette stuff and needs to type some TXTs up, and we'll have them in.
The stuff that Tarn hates to do.
Poor Tarn.
Poor Tarn.
Poor Tarn, the bottleneck. Yeah, no, I mean it's cool. We'll get it in. Especially if everyone stops dying.
Yeah, a little less death, and then
a little less death, a little more pilots. That's
just a month or two.
Just a month or two
of peace and quiet. Yeah,
I can completely relate. Been through a lot this
summer.
It's been a long year.
Yeah, no, it's rough for everybody out there, not just us.
So this next question, speaking of typing things up, comes in from Justice Face, and they say, how will portraits be represented in classic and ASCII mode?
Well, okay, so really, we'll just throw that out there. Do you want my dumbass to be drawing more Star Zoo shit for you? Do you want some more Star Zoo portraits? Like, you all played Star Zoo, maybe 50 of you have played Star Zoo, and we had some ASCII portraits in there.
There's this game that Tarn doesn't remember from way back when, like 1980, oh God, 1982, 1981, where you were playing the Enterprise, and then you'd have to like type in like battleship, which are the coordinates of the Klingons, and shoot at them. But you could also hail the Klingons.
Did they have portraits?
And they had portraits. So if Tarn wants to draw, and they were not the Klingons, they were the Jehovans. So if you want Tarn to draw Jehovans, that's one thing. But if you want them to complete adventure mode in Steam, that's another.
That's another. I mean, and you all are used to the Ultima Ratio Regium portraits. Mm-hmm. Look, I mean, frankly, the person developing that game has put a lot of effort into the different artwork and so forth into those, and also has like a custom set with those like diagonal triangles. I would love a diagonal triangle. Give me a diagonal triangle 7 days a week. But yeah, I mean, this is a question that we've kind of left open, that we're like, right now in ASCII, it'll just like tab things to the left and there won't be a portrait. But I could take a stab at it. Y'all will be embarrassed, but I'll take a stab at it.
So based on just like this pool of people that we have in 2 chat rooms on Twitch and YouTube with about 450 people total, it's a resounding yes. And also one person is sad that Star Zoo doesn't work on Windows 11.
Oh wow, that's true. So now this is the first time I've heard of that. We're losing our. Are all of our Curses games broken now?
It's just unless you virtual machine it apparently. But the thing that I would like to ask is, have you played a little video game called Warsim? Because the developer of that game released his face generator pack for free on itch for anybody to use if they want.
Yeah, I've seen Warsim. They've been in correspondence with me. I'm not up to date on like the last like year or what's been going on or whatever. But look, I've been making shitty ASCII. I can say that, right? Shitty.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
I've been making shitty, fucked up, garbage ass ASCII portraits my whole life.
I can confirm this. He's in charge of the ASCII stuff.
Yeah, I can
really
I
wanna
can
see
do it.
these.
So like I'm all over it, and with y'all's blessing, I'll take an extra, few days to, really shard all over the game. It's fine. I'll do it.
Chat's saying go nuts, I think.
Yeah,
You have
go
chat's
nuts.
permission
Go
at the
nuts.
very least.
Yeah, no, spraying like a sprinkler. Here I go.
All right, so A+ on ASCII faces. But the
100%. Take me 5 minutes. Watch it shine.
the next question I have here is, will the update that brings adventure mode bring with it audio and/or new music and intervals?
Okay, so look, it hasn't been announced yet, and I'm not going to announce it.
Don't think it's anything.
Dude.
It's been stated that things are being worked on, but that's about it.
Oh well, if that's been stated,
I think.
and you didn't make that.
Yeah,
up,
you're
right?
not-
you aren't just tricking us. This isn't like
don't
a
think I made
con
that up.
job or anything. Yeah, no. People are working. More people than before. We've got a couple new people. We're actually working on the game. No, it's going to be beautiful. Yeah, no, beyond.
We're being informed by
Beyond
Kitbox Games.
quality.
Do not leak it again. So.
Yeah, okay. So like whatever they say, I mean they don't want to be like the master of like, messaging and so forth and be like, we're holding back information. We're not holding back information here. We're just like almost, we're almost ready to announce some stuff or whatever. And but rest assured,
Beyond quality.
Right.
I
Beyond
was just
quality.
trying to see if I could find the Tanya tweet from like December of last year of, yeah, we're talking to the musicians again or whatever, but whatever.
No, we like Omar, we like Simone, right?
Yeah.
And we like the two new people who haven't been named yet. So like no, we got stacks of people doing stuff and
Exciting.
And it's like non-disclosed stuff. So
non-disclosed stuff.
that's what remains non-disclosed.
And let me just say though that we're not just talking about music, we're talking about audio. And if you want to hear a door open, if you want to hear a door close, if you want to be like stepping through a door, we've got you covered.
All right, so this next question comes in from Caddis, and I think that they're going to be disappointed by this, but my question regarding adventure mode is about bases or hideouts. Can we as the adventurer create a small shack or hideout that we could theoretically settle at by finding the location in fort mode? It would be awesome to end our adventure at a random location and then make a fort as a memorial.
Well, okay, so now like you say disappointed because they'd not be like literally using their Helven stuff to like chop down a tree and build their own walls. But if you're talking about that thing where you like claim, you like shout out, excuse me, well you shout out like yell like I claim this site in the name of some entity I just made up. Like that's probably going to be in there. So like it's a matter of can they place the like wall commemorating the existence of this thing. And all that is an interface question of like, how's that going to work? Is that like all of fort mode again, kind of replaced in adventure mode where you're like doing that stuff? We were just kind of hedging our bets in terms of like what we're going to be able to like do in some kind of like, usable way.
Is there time? Well,
is there time?
Yeah, that's the question.
And it's a funny thing because like it's coming anyway, right?
Right. It's all coming. It's all going to be there, but it's like it's once again we had this problem with fortress mode when we were doing that, and like, do you want adventure mode right when? And adventure mode is going to take however long it takes, and if it took however long it takes, there still wouldn't be fortress mode right now. It'd still be a work in progress. So it's like,
no, imagine we hadn't released now and we were like, we're trying to work on adventure mode.
Right. So adventure mode building is just gonna it might happen. It might happen by the release, but we just don't know how much time we have left. Yeah.
I mean, if you hadn't released in December last year, I'd probably be bankrupt at this point. So thank you for
That's
releasing
the
the game.
thing. It's like so God bless, right? It's like there's no reason not to release in increments. We're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here. Everyone knows we're still here.
And we're good for it.
We're good for it. We're set upon and like, like a lot of shitty things have happened. And also as people have noted, very pointedly, they've noted that we've been traveling on occasion and so forth. That's true. but we're still here. We still love our game, and we're still working on it, and we're going to get it done. And when people ask like for changes to the archers or for changes to any other thing that might be screwed up in adventure mode, I think they also all know that. Sorry, Fortress mode. They also all know that adventure mode is the thing that's missing, right? It's like it's not there, and so we're working on that. I mean, it's going to be out. That is our focus, and hopefully we can get that done, and then just continue. This game as a service. Here we are, GAAS. Here we are.
A gas?
Gas, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if people ever pronounce it out, or they just say GAAS. I don't know.
From now forward, I'm going to refer to games as a service as gas.
Gas, yeah. No, I mean
it's all gas.
It's all gas. Yeah. No, it's unfortunate that it turned out this way because I love those like 2-hour narrative experiences that like are not gas, but people want them to be gas. They're like, why don't you add another chapter to this? And it's like, we paid, so we own you for 8 years. I mean, we aren't bitter. We're going to be working. We're here. We're working. It's cool.
Speaking of working,
I like adventures and stuff. Yeah. Let's speak about that.
I've got a question that comes in from Anonymous, and they say, once in their lives, dwarves get a strange mood and will make a legendary artifact, except for adventurers for some reason. Can we ever expect to get a mood of our own in adventure mode, and maybe to make our own legendary item with whatever we have on hand? Personally, I'd love to walk around with a unique item I can truly call my own, even if it's just a loincloth that menaces with spikes of glass.
Is that a dwarf thing or a human thing? Like I literally don't know why a dwarven adventurer wouldn't be having a mood in a retired fort. Like, is that like not a thing that?
Well, even if that's not the spirit of the question, it's things that we've been thinking about for the Magic release. It's the whole mood apparatus might be replaced by something procedurally generated.
Yeah, augmented. I mean, like it's like you might need some more things to be made, not on a one-to-one basis. There's a couple questions there. I am literally surprised that retired dwarven adventurers don't make artifacts, because there's this variable, like this flag on them called like mood spent. That's the text in the code. That's a flag that gets added when you've made your one artifact that a dwarf is going to make in their life. But humans like don't get it. They don't get to have that experience in their lives because they're humans, losers, not dwarves. And like the humans, I mean, maybe in the future, it's like they'll be tinkering and they'll make a scroll or something. Like they'll have that net hack experience for themselves that they've been longing for.
I think my assumption with this question was that like while playing a dwarf in adventure mode, you can't have a mood.
Oh. Well, what the hell would that even mean? Like you're possessed, you can't play. Like
game over. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It's like now you're gonna be like, go get it like a sheet of a pewter. I need my pewter sheet. And
then even if you survive this process, you will still just be staring at that calendar as it ticks away.
Yeah,
making your artifact.
That's a whole ass other question. Yeah, though, like whether we're going to be simming moods in adventure mode. If the question is not about retired adventures, but rather live adventures, I think that's more like an epic thing, like taking a pilgrimage to 3 different religious sites or something, like being kind of selected, and that opens questions about like when does a strange mood happen? Does it happen when you're out adventuring, or do you have to belong to a community for that to happen? Do you have to be like a crafts dwarf who's been out there doing their thing, And I know a lot of people like want to play this more sort of career-based or even pastoral version of adventure mode where like, I am a shepherd. I've got 7 sheep and we're out here shearing. And we're not going to be concerned about night trolls or dragons or anything, and that's like a whole sort of pathway, and if the strange moves fit into that, I mean this is yeah. I mean if I had to admit to myself, I'd say it's not a priority.
It could that very well could be the case.
If I had to admit to myself, I'd say adventure mode like moods, like active adventure mode moods, are not the priority. Right. But you have to explain to yourself why that is. you kind of become like a loser sort
Right.
of poser
And
at that point.
and we actually did have a discussion about this. The Magic release, strange moods connect in.
Yeah, yeah, and like when
So the answer is weirder than you expect to have happen
yeah,
will happen eventually.
yeah. I want the world to be weird as hell.
It is pretty weird.
It's pretty weird.
Speaking of things that are weird, Meka 32, I think is how you say that. Probably butchered that as well. But they say, I've had the unfortunate experience in adventure mode with cities and fortresses with large populations. If you spawn in either the capital of a civilization or get to the point where you get to the point where you can't make a step for how low the frame
Yeah,
rate
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah,
So their
absolutely.
question is, will there be any optimization for large towns, considering we're now in SDL2 world? What's
Oh,
the
well, it's
status
not
on
just SDL2. We're in
frames?
Putnam world, and I don't want to put things on Putnam. The buck stops here with me and Zach. But we would like to optimize adventure mode, and Putnam is the vehicle through which this could happen. I would like to also, I mean, I'll be involved, of course. I know it's shit right now. It's too slow. It's just way too slow. There's too many people thinking, and there's like goddamn Drunians and Crundles and shit thinking right now, like underground about what they're doing with their day, because of how the columns work. That's sort of a map rewrite question, but if we've got to wing it for beforehand, no, we're gonna make adventure
Oh,
mode faster.
oh, by the way, just for all you people who have been following for the years, the map rewrite itself and the big weight, as we're talking about the arcs being replaced by incremental things, the map rewrite might also be replaced incrementally, replacing
Yeah,
the way it is now.
we made some strides on that. We've made some just some thoughts and experiments that have gone into like the different branches now that we're on version control. We've actually been toying around with this a little bit. We may be able to bypass the map rewrite, which is nice.
Ooh, that's exciting. I
And
mean,
we just want to go. We just want to release incrementally, and kind of you can kind of glue things into even old worlds. We're not talking about just new worlds. We're talking about old worlds too. Being able to like glue them in, stitch them in. But that's that's a future topic. But we're optimistic now.
Right, new map pieces you can glue in.
Yeah.
so the kind of exciting thing for me about that with like stitching in pieces instead of long wait times is for me in like Dwarf Fortress development canon at this point, the long wait was the wait for Steam version because that
Oh,
was
absolutely. Yeah. No, I
basically
mean,
what
like the
2021
big
until
weight,
2022.
the big weight is a concept that we like we're pushing. Because when you're like doing development on a game like this, you like have to, as you're basically in a tugboat or whatever, pulling the game along, and you like move in 5-degree increments, right? It's like you're trying to tell people where things are going to go, and everyone's kind of well read in and sort of invested on the development. You're like, we've got to make this change, and we're thinking about how it's going to work and so forth. And so we're trying to prep people for like that. If I'm gonna have to do this stuff, and I do have to do it to make planes work and all that kind of thing. Like, where there's just gonna be a big wait, and we have to prepare people for that. And then we were like, okay, now we're gonna look at this and try and strive to make that not the case. The only place where I haven't figured it out, I figured it out for a lot of things, but I have not figured it out for multiple cameras. Like if you want multiple cameras running, like we were talking about in fort mode, having it so you could actually see your diplomats like arrive at the elves and like walk in and talk to them and stuff and be on a different camera. Like that, I'm still like, okay, that's just a giant rewrite like the Z level. Like you just have to go in. I almost said the F word. I'm very sorry. But you have to go in and like look at 10,000 different, literally 10,000 different places in the code and say like, okay, this just works a little different now. I'm sorry. But for other stuff, like I want to visit, Valhalla and have an illusionary wall.
Or take the giant column that's being simulated, like crunch it together a little bit, and then have a very wide play area at the surface.
Yeah,
That would
exactly.
be another example of how the map rewrite incrementally can exist and provide you with more fun.
Yeah, like if you wanted to see an army battle or something like that. But again, that's a multi-camera question when it comes to fort mode. But like
Yeah, but
just
like
generally
we'd
speaking,
rather have these multi-camera problems since that wasn't promised at all, and have the Have the,
Yeah. I mean, multicam, we wanted to do it. We
Yeah,
want to do it. We still want to do it.
maybe technology will save us again. And, we'll have the multi cameras.
Yeah. Or just, yeah, we're just waiting to lightning. Lightning will strike and the multi-camera will appear.
So I'm going to pull us back to adventure mode for one more second, because I've got a question about adventure mode, legends mode, and fortress mode. It's kind of all three. And this comes in from Kyo1995, and they say, in your latest devlog, you mentioned being open to integrating adventure and legends modes. Does this mean you would have a legends mode that would only show known information? And are there plans for a similar integration with fortress mode?
That is the big question. That's the big question. And that's going to be decided at the moment we do it. It's one of these things where it's like we have the queue screen, right, in adventure mode that shows the log of who are the historical figures and sites that you know, excuse me, and so forth. And like, can you take the existing legends mode and just massage it so that it shows you those things, but it also shows you the general information that you know? And then back in fort mode, can you have it so that you've got like a little legend, like encyclopedia next to the dwarf's picture and their character sheet, and you can pull them up and you can say, oh yes, this is their great grandfather and so forth, but not ruin vampires, right? And so forth. I think that's where we're aiming. We definitely like Legends mode is really cool. It's one of those things that sets the game apart from every other game on the planet, and it's just cool. And we want to have it so that like a person playing fort mode or adventure mode gets to see that.
Right.
Stuff.
We don't want it to be just another thing that no one experiences.
Yeah.
That we spent a lot of time on. It is really cool.
Yeah. So like we're hoping right now that the quest log, the shift queue from adventure mode is just kind of integrated into legends mode.
Right. This would be like the journal in most other games, right?
Yeah. And that you kind of have this kind of multi-tier thing where you see what you know and then what you kind of, hey, this is general knowledge. That's the hope. That's what we're going for, and in both modes for sure. Not just we've been talking about, well, not just talking about, thinking about it like implementation wise for a year. Like, how can we just get an encyclopedia into fort mode? Like, just like it is low weight, it's gonna work, and
yeah, even if you hit the button and it kerchunks for a second.
Yeah. I mean, a little weight's fine. I mean, no one's gonna care, and we just like I think we would kind of end up sort of like hoodwinking ourselves with the vampire stuff. We're like, well, it will ruin vampires. And it's like, if a player is clicking the encyclopedia button and it ruins a vampire for them, I mean, they're just investigating. Like it's really like they deserve to win.
Right.
Can I point out something?
You're going through the.
You can point at something
about vampires. Vampires are blue right now in the game, so they're already.
So they're
ruined.
Totally shit.
Yeah.
They're totally. Well, wait, no. Okay, so that's shit. I mean, I thought they like I thought it was only when they were feeding they would go to like the alternate representation. Are they like literally blue when they walk on the map?
They're always blue. And Chad can
that's the
probably
shittiest
confirm
thing.
this. They've been blue since December.
God.
Well, the Steam version is going to change that for you.
Yeah, no, so this is part of the problem that can actually. I mean, it's partially related to this bugtracker change we're making, where we kind of get like out of touch with what's going on. So yeah, we really need we need a fortress liaison ourselves because we've become losers.
Yeah, we need to keep making these Reddit threads.
Yeah.
What is the most spoily
bug?
bug? What's the most spoily bug that annoys you?
Yeah. What's an obvious shit thing about Dwarf Fortress that they didn't notice in the last 10 months?
Right. Sorry. There's just too many bugs.
No. I feel bad now, but it's like, yeah. No, that's just crap.
Yeah, these things that are obvious, because like when we test the game, it's just one of us doing it.
I mean, we got QA people. We have
QA people. It's just not the same, though.
It's a little bit different than it was before.
Yeah, it is. We're really.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, I just feel. No. You really brought the mood down.
Can I try to bring the mood up with a fun question?
It'll be fun, but we still have memories.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're traumatized.
It's fine. It's okay. It's okay because it will lead the development in the right direction.
The next question I have comes in from Anonymous, which is, what in the world does a purring maggot sound like?
Well, I mean, look, a dwarf loves their purring maggot.
A
Like,
tribble maybe.
yeah, like I mean, like if you've had a little dog that you love, like the dwarf is like that. It's not going to be like me, like one of those like songs or whatever that has like a really obnoxious synth in it or something. It's mellower than that.
Hypnotic maybe.
Hypnotic. You know, I mean, I can't do it justice.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be like purring into the microphone? I could. That's
Hypnotic. Exactly like that.
and you're like sitting there thinking like, what's this creature going to evolve to? Because this is like the eternal question of Dwarf Fortress.
All right, now I'm traumatized.
I'm sorry, but this is reality that you've chosen for yourself.
The next question comes in from Marcelli, and their question is, how does the bug fixing process unfold? I mean, individual stages. Do tickets go through before they're properly addressed? Some time ago, I submitted a ticket about not being able to rename dwarves on the prepare carefully screen, and I'm curious about how it progresses. And they say they love Dwarf Fortress wholeheartedly, and it's their favorite game. And the only one they keep
Oh,
coming
sure.
back
No,
to.
I mean, that last part, I mean, you don't have to butter us up at all. I mean, we understand that shit is shit and that we're
Yeah, I think
a
we've kind of
pile of garbage.
I think we've already outed ourselves as to the fact that maybe it was the problem was the bug tracker, but it's like we need
Yeah, no, the problem was us.
yeah, the problem is us. We hit the bugs when we think that we run into them ourselves, or we heard a bunch of
Yeah,
heard a bunch of complaints. But it's like when we came up with that the Reddit thread, it's like we miss the obvious stuff because when we do this, it's just me and Tarn or just a few other people, and we don't hit those bugs because we play a certain way. So we need other people to play
Yeah.
different ways to show us like what is the obvious
And
problem
the,
here.
the old tracker was better because you kind of had like those, here's 350 confirmed bugs, and we would just work through some of them at a time, and then we kind of lost. It was like wearing an extra pair of gloves when we were on this new tracker, right? The new Mantis hub tracker, and that's why it's like the level of pressure or whatever from people hit a certain point where it was like we need to switch out of this tracker, get to a tracker where we've got accounts again, we got people talking again, and then we'll just be able to start addressing bugs, in a more routine fashion. I think that's kind of where we're at, where we made this. We had basically made a mistake for a pretty long time, and it was it was partially a financial problem, and partially this anticipation that there was going to be this like traffic storm that sort of blew us over, where it happened in one aspect where we have a shitload of new players on Steam, but it's like it didn't translate into like destroying the forum, which is something that we were worried about. But it's fine because they hang out on Steam, it's cool, and like that the same is true of the bug tracker. We could have absorbed the traffic on the old bug tracker, but we were like anticipating and trying to be responsible about this by setting up a whole new bug tracker that didn't have accounts or whatever, because we didn't think we'd be able to absorb it. And then it turns out, we could have absorbed it. We could have had a more kind of organic reporting process, but we are here to respond to this in time, and maybe not in time, but we're doing it when we can. We got a new tracker coming up soon, and I don't even remember the question you asked, if we addressed it or not.
The question was just like, what's the bug fixing process like from report
Yeah,
to
I mean the bug.
being
So
fixed?
I'm eliding the whole thing by saying that our bug fixing process was shit, because our tracker was is on my part
Right.
poor decision making.
Right, and we're relying on social media.
Yeah, it was not great. So no, we're basically, the idea is we're fixing the process, and I mean, it sounds like the ticket they put in was more like a half suggestion bug or whatever. Like that's a different question. Like, how do we, when we talk about people that are having friction in the game, but not like specifically a bug, how do we get it? Those improvements is a different question. Right. And that's like, we have the old suggestion forum, which we still rely on. I mean, part of the problem is we just haven't escaped from the updates that we're doing. We have to get this adventure mode thing up. Like, we're not done.
Yep.
We have not attained freedom, and at the same time, like what Putnam's been doing is beautiful. We've got like the new, like you're not gonna believe the new like sorting options and stuff you have on unit screens that are coming. I mean, you might believe them if you've seen like DF Hack or whatever, but it's like it's gonna be cool. There's stuff coming that's really good.
I'm looking forward to a lot of that stuff. I mean,
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's like I feel like it's just going to take us a few more months to get like just together on this stuff. But I think, and we're late,
and
we're late.
this is just kind of me kind of like echoing this out into the community, but like just remember that once adventure mode is done, all of the things that people want that are not necessarily bugs or game breaking, but features that people want, then stuff can actually start getting work done again, right? Because
Yeah, it's like
so much
yeah.
work is
I mean,
going into adventure mode.
yeah. I mean, the way I'd phrase it is like when people say like, oh, this old feature or that old feature from Dwarf Fortress hasn't been brought, to the modern era yet. Well, like adventure mode is the number one, right? It's like we are missing the whole ass mode, and we're gonna get it done. And then yeah, we're just sitting there. We're just sitting there on like, hey, we're gonna be able to respond to more granular concerns.
Like I'm like we've done a number of these talks at this point, right? Like the first few was just me and Tarn, and then I've had guests on, and then at a point Zach started joining too. And I don't think we've ever actually done one of these where Steam development wasn't just in full swing. So like
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a point where we've done one of these Q&A streams. Like I'm at the point now where like I'll just get, when I put out the call for like questions, I'll get so many questions where it's like, okay, well, I know what the answer to all of these is going to be. So I just kind of like skim through, and then every other one I'm just removing it, because it's like, well, I've either done it in a previous one or I'm just like retreading the same ground. And I know the answer is going to be, when everything else we're working on is done, right? But
Yeah, and I feel bad that it's like it hasn't gone faster. And like it feels like it should have gone a little bit faster. And but it doesn't. Like this is a huge, I mean, what do they call it? A tech debt or bit rot or anything like that. It's like we were working for 20 years and didn't do the menus.
Right. It's a lot of data entry.
Yeah.
It's a lot of really grunt work that's grinding my brother into insanity.
My poor Tarn. My poor Tarn.
Yes.
That's all right. That's all right. We'll get through it.
I'm kind of skimming my remaining questions and being like, okay, which ones are like straight up just suggestions and which ones are more constructive?
Those are cool too. I mean, they're fun to talk about.
Okay. Well, here's one from Sentient Potato, and they ask, will the worship of Megabeasts have additional gameplay mechanics or ramifications in Fortress mode, and or adventure mode, or will their worship remain more so limited to flavor that is optionally found by the players that read more into their worlds?
Well, I mean, I'd say that about all religion, right? It's like an equal amount of flavor, right? I mean, I think it's because the mega beasts are real, and having a real god, like, well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe that'd be horrible, but like, it's one of these things where it's like none of the other gods in Dwarf Fortress exist beyond cursing people for random statue breaking, but like the dragon is there. And feeling like these dwarves are worshiping the dragon feels like it should have like, oh wait, that should have like a million gameplay effects, when it's just like equal to the other religions, right? And it feels like the dragon just doesn't give a shit. And I think maybe should the dragon care? Should the dragon just be like, wait, I can just kind of chill and take money for the rest of my life or whatever? I feel like they're asking for specific mechanics where those mechanics don't even exist for the other religions. And like the answer would be like, well, we want to do this whole, giant myth thing, but that's it's a big ass vague thing where the mega beast feels like it's kind of like pleading for a special status already because they already exist. And I think ultimately what's going to happen is that it's going to kind of fall in line with the other myth stuff and not get special treatment first, but that some weird shit will happen along the road there, because it is kind of cool that they start worshiping the dragons and stuff. But I want the dragons to start like speaking.
One of the reasons I included that question was because I will never forget the fortress that I had where half of my population worshipped a rock. And of course, the giant god of prey, not an actual boulder or anything. It's just this huge bird of prey, and it showed up, the one that they all worshipped, and then they all beat it to death.
Well,
But
I mean, that's assertive, right? That's assertive. That's like some Nietzsche ass shit, right? That's good.
that I
Good
put
job.
its skeleton up in the temple, and it was glorious. So I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes you
yeah.
have to
I
kill
mean,
a god
it's
to
like,
build a religion.
and it's one of those things where it's like that is enough. But if there was just the slightest bit of little payoff that the game recognized itself, that would be all the better, right?
Steam achievement.
I got so many questions about achievements, and I figured all the answers would just be and so I didn't include any of them. But
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like,
Right, we haven't really decided the nature of these things.
yeah, it's one of those things where you feel like adventure mode at least has to be done before we're like starting to figure that stuff out. But that it's sitting right on our lap too, because I mean, CUD is so far ahead of us there because for literally like 5 years or more, CUD has been like eat a bear, eat a whole bear. That's an achievement. I'm like, or like wear your own face on top of your face. That's an achievement. I'm like, yeah, how can we compete? We gotta. Well, obviously we can because we got a whole.
arm.
Yeah, we got a whole ass game. We can compete, but it's like we have to sit down and think about it.
There's another Reddit thread for
Yeah.
achievements.
Yeah, no, it's we belong in the sphere of Chivos. We definitely belong there, but I want to finish adventure mode first.
So the next question comes in from Dosaran, and they say, are there any plans to expand missions? I know it's kind of antithetical to the way Dwarf Fortress is normally played, but I tend to avoid violence in my forts, choosing to focus instead on crafting and commerce. However, the most peaceful means to currently engage other citizens in trade is to demand tribute from them. I don't know if doing this can start wars, but I'm always apprehensive when I send such a mission. I try to think of it as sending an invite to a conference, and the gift is a letter of acceptance. And I think would be.
I'm sure they think that at the point of an axe or whatever. No. Okay, so I'll just stop you there. But the idea is that we're going to expand on diplomacy and trade. I mean, no, we're definitely going to do that. I mean,
that was originally the caravan arc.
Yes,
which we were also going to break into little tiny pieces. And
it's actually it's coming. I mean, adventure mode always wins here, but very soon we're gonna see like better trade agreements and like messengers having a point and that kind of thing. I don't want people to feel like they've got to be extorting another civilization to have a peaceful experience. That's just nonsense. No. I think that kind of the heart of one of the things that's missing in dwarf mode is a trade agreement with some heft to it. Like that you're going to produce something that's hard to produce. You're going to get it by next year, and you're going to get a real trade-off from that that's going to help your fortress a lot, rather than some here's 3 goods that have shifted in value, which is just kind of nonsense. I want some real challenges there and some real obligations. If you choose to make them. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm saying if you're engaging with the outside world in commerce.
The next question I have comes in from Caddis, and they say,
Caddis.
In regards to fort mode, my manager tends to get overworked, and I noticed that there were clerks in the game. Would it be able in the future to set up an office for multiple clerks to handle the tasks of the one manager?
Okay, so that's something we haven't thought clearly about because we're just kind of dropped the ball on terms of like a late game fort, how much the manager is working. Seems fair. I mean, this is like the bureaucracy of the state building up, right?
Well, yeah, I mean it is kind of just a descriptor of their set of skills more than an occupation.
Yeah, I mean, if they got to be in the office checking those boxes. I mean, this has to do with like how many work orders you're doing too, right? Or something. Purely.
It's the number of it's the number of work orders, and also the manager often gets roped into doing other things that are not work
Oh, like
orders.
is
Or if they're
this
hauling
mainly
a
like the
boulder somewhere,
complaints?
and then
Oh,
like,
sure. No,
fire
that well,
off
you
a
can
work
turn
order.
that. That's your choice to turn that shit off, though, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
part you got to separate them out. But then even then, and like the manager also takes some of those crying complaints.
Yeah, early on at least.
Is like. Yeah, early on, yeah. Once you
takes
get a mayor, that shifts. But like, if they're purely doing enough work orders that the manager can't even do them, then it's completely fair to demand like additional helpers there.
Allow us to assign more managers.
Yeah, no,
That
that's
probably wouldn't be too
that.
hard to mod into the game, actually.
Yeah, like an assistant manager. Assistant manager, a complete dead end job for the poor, you know. 250 years you've been working as an assistant manager.
Like, now that we can have higher populations because the frame rates have gone up, we could do like the once you hit 250 dwarves, you unlock the assistant manager task.
Oh, well, okay. Now in terms of how out of touch we are, why don't you tell me a little bit about that? Because I know Putnam worked really hard on optimization. Have people been playing with more dwarves?
I frequently see new players talking about how they have 300 plus dwarf fortresses running above 30 frames a second, and my computer, I have kind of, so I upgraded my CPU this year. I think like around springtime, like late spring, early summer, I upgraded my CPU. So I have a brand new Ryzen 7 now, the X3D one. So this thing's a truck, but I literally got 100% frame rate increase. So I can run like 210 dwarves or so at like 60 frames a second.
Wow. I mean, it's not Songs of Six or anything, but we're doing okay.
I mean, it's getting there. I mean, like nothing really. Dwarf Fortress doesn't need to be Songs of Six because Songs of Six only has one Z level. So I mean, like, come on.
Well, no. We want different experiences, right? And it's like they have a broader kind of societal experience, and we've got like our little dudes running around doing dude stuff.
Yeah, Putnam's saying that she runs 90 FPS with 250 plus citizens.
Damn.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then Putnam's in control. Putnam's in control, the horizontal and the vertical. It's like the Twilight Zone out there. We're gonna get some dwarves running around, and I mean, I don't mean to put that on her shoulders. The adventure mode frame rate. That's gonna be a team project. That's just a nightmare. But everything will be okay. In other words.
The next question comes in from an anonymous, and they ask, why do goblin sites have these thin trench-like things between their structures? I'm guessing it's simply their idea of roads? Question mark.
The trenches. It's like they're supposed to be evocative of the kind of warlike mentality, just kind of World War I vibes. But no, it's deeply ridiculous that we did do that, but we did it. It felt like the original, like those Bank and Rest movie, the cartoon with the Return of the King and them hobbits running around through that environment. That was kind of a warlike environment, Mordor environment. We just wanted to make the environment shitty, and we were like, World War I is kind of shitty.
That's true.
So yeah, I ain't gonna go out there and run it at a machine gun or anything. I ain't Wonder Woman. I don't have the shield or anything. I'm gone. No man's land. So like, yeah, no. It's so that's and it's funny too because like Jacob has to draw this shit. It's like, I'm sorry, but please draw me a trench pointing in the 16 bits worth of directions: north, south, east, west, north, south, east, west. Northeast, northwest. Like, we need all of the trenches, please. Because of this decision we made at one point but that's how the goblins are.
What happens with 20 years of how old were we when we started this? 25?
Yeah, these little children.
About 25 years.
Children making bad decisions. The same kind of kid that would write Liberal Crime Squad, and I'm voting for myself. Those people.
At some point, I need to actually stream Liberal Crime Squad.
Yeah, don't stream I'm voting for myself. That would be yeah, we don't need to do that.
We'll see if I can get World War I medic working. It probably still works, I would assume.
It's a great game. Yeah, no, that game was cited by some outlet as like the greatest anti-war game of all time.
And also,
which is ridiculous.
It was also in a physical magazine with a CD.
That's right. Back when we did CDs. No, World War I Medic is it's a great game. There were no specific medics in World War I, as people tell us constantly, but that's fine.
The next question that I have is kind of a thought experiment, I guess. And this comes in from Randy, and they say, which mode do you consider to be the closest to the ideal Dwarf Fortress experience?
Well, I mean, that's like
Well,
both of them together, right?
well,
I mean,
yeah, they
it's
were
like,
designed together.
yeah.
I mean, like I think as far as the base building genre goes, it would be dwarf mode is like it obviously is the most unique of the two modes, but they really do go together.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't achieved our goals with adventure mode yet. That adventure mode is gonna be.
Yeah, oh yeah, you forgot Legends mode too.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Legends mode is beyond both modes, I think.
It's super interesting. I think, but yeah. I think the Dwarf Fortress experience involves bouncing between them, though. Yeah, for sure.
The next question I have in ASCII mode, this also comes in from Anonymous. They say, in ASCII mode, would it be possible to decouple the UI and the map so that the UI doesn't change and grow bigger as you zoom in?
I mean, there's some universe where that could happen. We've got the two different ports now. I feel like there's going to be this weird effect though. I don't know if people have like seizures and shit if they see like two different fonts against each other like that. That seems very very jarring. But it's certainly possible to have the glyphs printed on the other layer. It's almost trivial to do that. We just never thought of that because it feels kind of weird, but yeah, for sure. I mean, that's something that like if there's some support behind that concept, we could definitely do it.
The next question is, it comes in from Caravan Robber 9000. And they say, hey, deities, I love robbing dwarvish caravans. But do you know what I love more? Vermin. What is your favorite vermin? Mine is the fluffy wambler. The little guy is common around my forts, and I just learned today that they are filled with pudge. Neat.
Pudge. No, the fluffy wambler is a classic lovable creature.
And a good projectile.
Yeah, and a good projectile. If you want to kill a titan, the fluffy wambler is there for you. But yeah, no pudge, and they absorb your food items, but they're only in good regions, and they womble. They got stumble bumblings. They got a warm heart. This is no. We love the fluffy wambler.
Love the fluffy wambler.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, but the problem is that every real world bird pretty much is also a vermin. So like my brothers had peach-faced lovebirds, and like, are we not supposed to like the peach-faced lovebird?
Well, they are the one of the inspirations for beak dogs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, so
they already exist in games.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Shout out to the peach-faced lovebird, though. I think they deserve some credit. Shout out to the fox squirrel, because that's basically just our Ghibli. Like, let's just throw some Ghibli in the game.
Yeah, there's Ghibli. Forgive us, Ghibli. Forgive us, Sulkin Estate.
Yes.
We don't even want to mention you.
Yeah, but this is some Nausicaa ass shit. We're just threw the fox squirrel in there. The fox squirrel will bite you, but then become your friend.
So the next question I have comes in from Urist McHonored to play this artifact. And they say,
old and dying.
Adventure mode with Fortress mode is my ideal way of experiencing this game. And it's played as a saga of many forts in the same evolving world. The dream of that really shines in being able to select developed dwarves from existing retired fort and taking them on an adventure to go find a location for a new fortress, and then embarking onto it with them in Fortress mode. Can you comment on how plausible you see this to be included in post-adventure mode expansions?
So we had this as it's basically been on the dev pages forever, basically doing the Balin thing, right? It's like, yeah, Balin and dwelling are down in the valley. Yeah, no, we're doing our Rivendell songs now, but like they went there and they did that and they got balrogged. Like that was a reclaim. That was a post fort and thing that they were off doing. To get that whole sequence into Lord of the Rings, right? I mean, so the whole thing is based on getting those critters out there.
Also since we had adventure mode, or no, since we had the outside world, we talked about being able to pick an adventurer from any existing
Yeah,
character. That
yeah.
had been a plan, so that would fix his problem.
Yeah, I mean, basically the obstacle that we had was like if you took over like a emperor of a civilization, you don't have the levers available because we just hadn't programmed any of that stuff in to like make that a compelling experience all. And so we would kind of like taken away the whole idea of playing existing historical figures. But I mean, I kind of feel like any dwarf that was in your fort should be playable. Like you should just be able to fire them up because they were there. I mean, you could just go out and be one of those dwarves. And that's not, I mean,
Yeah, so
it's legitimate.
one of the zillion things that can be added that we already thought of that there's just too much stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
We'll get to the stuff.
But I like and it's also like it's got this whole Oregon Trail vibe of like the initial embark. We were thinking, you know, in a zillion years in the future, we were like, you know, you don't just embark, but you have to experience the embark. Then this is similar to the reclaim idea, or similar to the idea that you'd be able to take existing dwarves and go off and have some adventure with them. Is, you know, running this kind of it's a time scale problem, right? It's like in adventure mode, time runs really slow. In fort mode, time runs 144 times faster, and you want to kind of have this mid-level vibe for like the group that's traveling. And yeah, I mean, but I think they might get the ability to play historical figures before that.
And now this is a question that I added in, which is, have you played any video games recently?
I mean, I have just been like we talked about how games as a service is a bad thing, and so but like all of the games I played have just been updates. Like they updated Cyberpunk, they updated Hearts of Iron, they updated. Oh yeah, here's a good one. Now this one is just colon colon colon. Call to Arms, Gates of Hell, Ostfront is the game that I've been playing. That's 3 colons, and they have just added a new expansion for it, Liberation. So that's Call to Arms, Gates of Hell, Ostfront, Liberation. So that's a disgusting games or a game as a service thing that I've been playing.
That's a hell of a title.
Wow. Yeah, I played Starfield. I mean, it was fun while it lasted.
Interesting.
And then it didn't last, you know.
Yeah, well, sometimes it doesn't just work, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. I mean it's like obviously there could be more there. I mean it's okay. I'm not complaining about the time I spent. You know, I'll go into a abandoned pharmaceutical place and kill some raiders and go to the computer and read the same letter over and over again. That's fine with me. I'll do that for a while.
Yeah, like boarding the other ships was pretty cool.
It was cool
for a while, but since that's the only exciting thing after a while.
Yeah, no, I fuss rode a cockpit for like 3 or 4 times. It's exciting. I just blast them against the back wall, you know. And then shoot them with a shotgun too.
More importantly, relating to Dwarf Fortress and stuff, Tarn has playing Angband.
Yeah, I went back and played Angband. I played Angband. I played First Age Angband, and I played Frog Compas Band. I might be missing some syllables. Played them all. See where they were at. That was cool. I won First Stage Angband. I won that game. Legit. I could not win Frog Compas Angband. There's just too many situations where you die in that game.
It breathes, you die.
It breathes, you die.
I'm just far too deep into Risk of Rain Returns right now.
Is that like different from Risk of Rain 2? Is that like
it's a remake of the first one, which includes a bunch of content from the second one.
Wow.
So
it's like a triple, double bundle.
Yeah, you're one step away from Call to Arms. Gates of Hell, Lost Front,
Yeah,
Liberation.
you need an additional colon.
Yeah, this is just risk of rain returns. There isn't even a colon in it. It's just risk of rain returns. It's like a sentence.
Oh, wow.
They dropped the colon. But now is the pointed question that you always expect in a conversation like this, which is, so when's the next patch?
Yeah, so I mean okay, so we're competing, right, between adventure mode, which will be released when the giant apparatus in place decides that we announce a release date for it. That's just kind of like up to how the menus are going and stuff. But then of course there's the whole, 50-point next thing, which is gotta include archers. And this is like, I mean, it's just one of these weird decisions where you're like, okay, I've got X number of menus, like 27 menus or something to do in adventure mode, and I've got to just choose a time at random to do archers, right? When is that time selected? Well, I mean, maybe coinciding to when Putnam finishes some menu stuff or something, but it's like around there, whenever. So, whenever. I've got to spend a couple weeks on archers in the future. At some point when some other stuff is ready to come down the pipe, and it's like we're still in this weird position because of adventure mode where we don't just have a patch because we're done with something. We've got a whole giant ass thing to do that has to be a whole event, and then we're done with that. When that's done, then we could just do some patches. So I'm not sure. I don't want to wait too long. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see if next month I can just kind of sit down, do some archer stuff. But I also want to get further along with the adventure stuff. It's like I want inventory to be done. You want the combat menu to be done. You're making progress. You need to get these menus done. So yeah.
Yeah, there's the goal is to get adventure mode exactly as it exists now into a Steam format. With or without the button, the keyboard controls or whatever, it just has to exist on Steam, and that is the primary goal.
Yeah, and then we'll hopefully have some time to just do some stuff to make it cool. Like I mean, the additions we had to Fort mode were kind of interesting. At least like the new like obsidian like god weapon things and other weird shit that was down underground, and some changes that we made. We really got plans for adventure mode. We don't want to share them because who knows what the time is going to be like, but we want to make adventure mode more interesting for the launch, but especially because it's like, this game is not Baldur's Gate 2. This is our 3. We're on 3. Oh, but it's not Baldur's Gate 3. It's a different thing. It's a whole weird ass creature, and we're going to still be releasing it on Steam as an RPG, and people are going to have strange ass expectations about what it is and what it isn't. And people already know that it's like the strangest ass thing you could possibly anticipate because you'll be like walking into a mead hall dancing with the Baron or something, right? It's like, it's a strange game. It's really strange, but it complements the experience. And, but we still, we want to add some stuff to it to make it, a little more, I don't know, it's not mainstream exactly. It's stuff we were going to do anyway, but like just some stuff, but who knows? The timing's the timing.
Awesome. Well, it's fantastic to hear that stuff's rolling, and as I always kind of say with this sort of thing, like take your time. Like don't like, push stuff out faster than it needs to be. Like just put out updates when they're ready and when you're comfortable with dropping them, and we'll be here ready to play and ready to test things and break it.
I wish that was the way it was. I feel like there's a little more pressure than that, but not much. I mean, there's some people want the game out,
I think most people are more reasonable than they pretend to be in comment sections.
Yeah, no, I mean, we could have a chill ass universe where people are just working. I mean, I want people to know that we're working. That's what we're doing. We sit and we do stuff. And there's stuff like we got menus under the belt already. We're going to have more menus because there's a lot of menus. Like, why did we make a game with so many menus? There's so many menus.
There will probably be more menus at some point too.
Yeah, I love a menu. I mean, I got to learn to love the menu. It's just like learning to love the bomb and like a Doctor Strange love. It's like I stopped worrying and learned to love the menu. Did you go over all the screenshots and stuff you wanted to go over?
We went over the adventure mode one. The two that I think are, or the one that I'm like confused by is here. I will drop this.
Yeah, let's resolve some confusion.
into
Let's
the
not like
chat.
have you sitting there like all like confused and stuff.
Well, I mean, these are the other ones that I have.
Okay, so the retirement shot, sure, that was actually just part of this like narrative that we were building. So you've seen a retirement shot before. There's nothing new there. Now, so Jacob has been working on the art, right, for the travel map, and you can see that there's progress there. We've got the orchards, we've got the fallow fields. You can tell the difference actually between the pastures and the meadows if you look at the little brown spots. And there's the parts that you walk through the village. And the thing is, Jacob has actually drawn up the whole towns, and we're still just refining some images for like temples and stuff, so we're not quite ready with that. But that's, I mean, this has come a long way. So travel map is basically ready to go. We have to draw some elves. Like, okay, here's an elf site, here's a goblin site. There's work left to do, but I think, I don't know, you like it?
Yes, it's working in tandem.
It's pretty
with
cool.
Tarn as he data entries.
Yeah.
Artists are working their asses off. So.
No, it's pretty cool, right? You can see that, like, I don't know if you can zoom in all the way, but you see the little shield there with the @ sign in the center of the screen?
Yep.
So there's a shield with an @ sign, and that's your current location. That's you traveling around in adventure mode. We originally had like a humanoid figure there, but then we're like, well, wait, you could be a brown recluse Spider-Man with 6 arms. You're not humanoid at all. So we just went back to kind of the roguelike method of like, you're an @ sign. And so you travel through this map. These maps are zoomed in 3 times, of course, from the regular zoomed in embark map. But we also have zoomed out versions of these that are well zoomed in and zoomed out. You know what I mean? Like these are the mid-level like 16 by 16 maps for each tile that we have, like these town maps and stuff that you can see on Fortress mode embark. Like this is not just adventure mode. This is like
which are currently
when you're
just
embarking.
big red squares, right?
Yeah, the big red squares are gone, right? You can see the actual sites and stuff. You still need the red squares to say like, hey, you can't like literally park on these guys, apartment. They're not gonna like it. But like it, you can see the houses and stuff. So you'll kind of be able to experience this in all the modes. This kind of new artwork for sites and. But this is sort of like in line with the old ASCII, like all the different directional lines that told you where you could walk in the towns. So that's back, and we've got some cool images for the different types of buildings and between counting houses, taverns, guild halls, private towers, and temples and mead halls and so it's cool, and then on into the elves. You've got a factory tree, or were they called factory tree or sort of like industrial trees? I forgot what they're called, like where they grow their furniture, and they pick them. I'm gonna pick me a chair, highly ridiculous.
I could just pick a chair instead of having to go to
Walmart. Yeah, no, the elves have like IKEA down. They're just like they have a tree for it.
They don't even need to chop the trees down. It just grows the unpronounceable word that is flat.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you chop the tree down, that's like a crime against nature, and they will kill your society.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know how they are.
And your family.
Your family too. You need like a 2-year-old child. Arrow to the brain.
Then they might eat them.
Then they'll eat them. It's scrumptious. It's like a chicken tender.
But yeah, no, the screenshots that were given to me were kind of an awesome treat, and it's really nice to be able to see those the progression of that. Like the adventure mode one, I think is the most exciting because now like we kind of have an idea at least what the general screen is going to look like, and then combining that just with those maps is pretty fantastic. So
yeah, so I mean, obviously there's going to be a little UI on the travel screen so that you can like sleep and stuff like that. But it's basically the view that we got, and the UI on the main adventure mode. You can see the buttons and their groupings and stuff, down at the bottom, and that's like
right.
It's all tentative, but it's basically right.
Work in progress. There's going to be buttons at the top that we haven't done yet.
Yeah, you show you a mini map, you show the temperature and the weather. Where's the sun right now? And then like how the announcements work. Like you see that conversation with the hippo is kind of placeholdery. It's like because the thing with announcements and conversations in adventure mode is they all kind of interleave with each other. Especially if you're in combat, you're like the person has been struck down and then they scream out something. It's like, do you pop up their face and also kind of show that they were struck down at that time, right? It's like there's a lot of problems.
While someone else is extolling the virtue of patience.
Yeah, exactly. There's like 16 other things going on at the same time. It's a hard problem, and we're just kind of like we're kind of feeling it out. So we want to have these conversation windows, like these very RPG feeling conversation windows. Like you need to see the portrait, right? And you need to see the thing they're saying, but then there's like all this other stuff going on, and it's quite complicated. But
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
My one of my last adventures before Premium came out, I had a bunch of dogs. They were lovely. They were war dogs and a war bear, as well as a little gaggle of elves and goblins and dwarves and a couple animal people.
That's right.
And every single time I would take a step, the entire screen would be filled up with every single one of those characters petting a different animal. Which I then had to click through.
Well, what are they supposed to do? I mean, they're like, this is an option I have, and like, are you gonna not pet? And you're gonna not pet the war bear?
I mean, everybody had to pet the dog at least once, each dog.
Yeah.
And also they all had to pet the bear. So, like, everybody's constantly getting petted. And then eventually I figured out that if I made them all mount different animals, then they would stop. So I went and got a bunch of horses so that we could ride the horses and actually get places.
Yeah, it's like there needs to be a contraction of the messaging, even for like the conversations and stuff. And I don't know if it's just like there's a whole lot of petting going on. It'll just say that, but it's like it does need to cut it back. But the stuff still needs to happen, right?
Little pet symbol above their head while you're walking.
Yeah, because it's like, especially when you're like in this scene here with the hippo person, you're walking into the tavern. It's like there were other conversations going on, and right now they're just suppressed, and we're not sure like what the road forward is there. Like, because you want to kind of have this thing that says like, hey, a lot of people are talking right now, and you're also like, well, you overhear this specific thing, but you're like, oh, well, you might not care about that, and you really care about what the hippo person said to you directly. It's like you can't read the player's mind, and you also don't want to annoy the hell out of the player with a bunch of spam. So it's like, you know, we are Gmail now, basically. It's like, what is spam? What is not spam?
My Gmail doesn't know what spam is.
Yeah, my Gmail has like half a clue. It puts a bunch of stuff in the spam, but then it just sends me a bunch of crap too. So, you know.
Yeah.
That's what's going to end. I mean, we're not going to do much better than that, but we're going to try our best.
And pretty much everybody watching right now, I think, is looking forward to it.
Yeah, you all understand. I mean, I mean, people are pretty chill. People pretty understand. Things are okay, and you know, they know we're working on it. They know we're good for it, and they know they don't have to wait forever. And we know we got a good bug tracker now, so you don't have to worry about that neither. It's going to be good.
Looking forward to the bug
Everything's fine. It's gonna,
fine.
yeah. Don't worry about that weird ass like form submission shit anymore. Like we've that thing happened, and it was just something we can all talk about.
We can laugh about it together in the future.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, it's like there were going to be growing pains when stuff like this happens, like this whole ass thing that we've been through for the last year. And yeah, we're here. You know, we you know, like the mission is the same. We want to make a video game that has like all this cool stuff that can like generate whole ass fantasy universes. That's all still in the cards. We just got to get through another year of menus. And I'm not saying adventure mode's in a year. I'm saying there's a lot of menus to come. And we've been doing menus for the last 3 years or something. We're like menued out. We're going to keep doing menus anyway. Stuff's going to get done. And then we'll finally return to some sense of like, hey, we're working on a video game. That's cool.
I look forward to when adventure mode is finished and we can talk about future features. And I feel like I'm just giving suggestions.
I love this light at the end of the tunnel. People have been talking about me.
It's a train. It's a train.
Yeah, since 2018, people have been talking to me about the end of the tunnel. Yeah, we're there. We're getting there. We're getting
a couple years.
I feel it. I feel it coming. I feel it coming in the air tonight. That's my Phil Collins anyway. But everything's going to be all right.
Solid impression. I think you should try it for America's Got Talent. But
it doesn't, though. But I ain't got drums either. Yeah, that man's a drummer. I ain't a drummer. I did do some electronic drums for a bit. It's fun.
Really? Oh.
But there's like 20,000 plugs you have to plug in, though, because like every single like drum head for the electronic drums needs to be like plugged into the machine. And so when you come back to revisit it like 4 months later, you're like, well, there's like 30 plugs I have to plug in, and now I'm completely lost. So that's the problem. But you know, everything's fine.
Well,
It's fine.
Like
It's
I
okay.
said, I think it's time for us to kind of wrap because you know I've taken an hour.
No, well, you've got things to do too. I
of
mean,
your time.
your life's complicated. I mean,
I've
you,
got to
you-
edit this. But
Yeah.
Well, for sure we
the
need
main-
editing. Oh, we need editing. We need editing.
I mean, I'm not gonna cut
Oh.
anything. I'm just going to put the questions on screen.
You
and
should put
timestamp
some
it.
kazoos and like vuvuzelas in there.
Oh boy, don't tempt me.
It's like bree, bree.
It's like air horn sound.
Yeah.
No, seriously, thank you very much for lending me your time and
Yeah.
hanging out with us and talking with the chats, because I have 2 of them now. I can stream on YouTube now, so there's like 100 people
Oh,
watching
cool.
on YouTube.
Cool,
and
awesome,
also
yeah.
like 300 people watching on Twitch, so that's...
Hello to Twitch. Hello to YouTube.
And we thank you very much, seriously, for taking the time out of your day to
cool.
answer some questions and chat with us about
Yeah,
your
what
video
a
game.
day it is.
Excellent.
Yeah. Had fun. It was
Yeah.
good talking about stuff, and we will
We're good for
persevere.
it.
Yeah,
We're
we're
good
good
for
for it. We'll persevere. We'll keep the news coming, and you'll have adventure mode in your laps, and then you'll have all the other stuff too.
And
Good stuff.
just to the people watching live, I will be back in a couple of minutes after we say our goodbyes off cast. I'm going to take us off now. If you want to say goodbye, now's the opportunity to do so.
That's right. What is love?
That's
Don't
right.
hurt me.
Goodbye.
Don't hurt me
Don't
no
hurt
more.
us no more.
That's
Maybe
right.
don't hurt me.
That's right.
And now that you've made it to the end, if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more like it, there's a whole bunch of these interviews in the playlist. It's the Bay12 Talks playlist, so I recommend checking that out. If you want to support me and the work that I do, you can buy a t-shirt, buy a mug, check out my Patreon, or support me on Twitch, or just simply watch this video here on YouTube. Share it around, tell other people about it, and of course, go buy Dwarf Fortress on Steam. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you very much everybody for the support, and I hope to see you in the next one.